Here we go. How you guys doing? Welcome to today's live stream. It's 8 a.m. here in Los Angeles. What time is it for Bitcoin? Fucking dump time, eh? Yeah, it's fallen off a cliff. I mentioned to you I had two final support levels. 42,000, 38,000. If they fail, it's bad. It's very bad. The next area of support that I outlined for you in the previous live stream, bam, right here, it actually worked out pretty well, was at the low $30,000 range, just about 30k. So we ended up getting a bounce. We're going to be breaking down in this live stream. Let's, audio and visual good, thank you very much. We're going to be breaking down in this live stream what I'm seeing in this chart. I'm going to be giving you all of my analysis, how I plan on trading this, really breaking down why this may have happened, and talking about the next steps. As you can tell, according to the title of this live stream, we do have some signs that this massive dump is over. We do have some signs that we are ready to hit a little bit of a recovery. Doesn't mean we will, absolutely does not mean we will, because we failed our critical support between 42 and 38,000, which I always said would be very, very bad. That means my targets have dropped. You know, the next support levels that I mentioned, they're at 30k, 28, 24. The next real support is at 20k. So I'm going to be breaking down for you what I'm seeing there and what I think might happen next with Bitcoin, what I'm thinking about this pump right now, because Bitcoin managed to rise up from exactly $30,000. And this is very, very accurate. Take a look at this on the OHLC, $30,000 it managed to exactly bounce off. And it's now climbed $7,000 higher, which is more than 20%. So that's a pretty good trade right there. It's moving very, very well. What happened to the other four flights guy? Well, I'm the main one, and we have hired a new video producer who many of you have correctly pointed out is Canadian, and he does shorter summaries about videos and live streams. So you will see, especially if you're in VIP, you will be seeing his summary videos if you don't have time to watch the big ones. So, this is going to be a lot. Let's shoot up the likes if we're already excited and pumped up for this market. A little bit of smiles across the space today, hopefully, because this is what crypto is all about. I'll tell you what, guys, I don't need anything to make me feel alive if I've got this crypto market, because I swear I just woke up in a little bit of a panic. I was like, shit, right, I need to check Bitcoin. Something's up. I just knew it in my dream. I dreamed of Carl, by the way, the moon. I don't know if there's like something weird going on right there, and I feel alive right now. So I hope you guys do as well. Let's get straight into it. Bitcoin fell below $38,000. And as I said, because these were the crucial support zones, these crucial reversal zones for the market, I wouldn't really be expecting any support anywhere else until we fall down to the next crucial reversal point, which was right around here. This was the next area in the market where the price was able to fall down so low and start recovering back up to very great levels. And so because of that, I think it was quite natural that this area did turn into support. This is what I outlined in the previous video that went up not even 12 hours ago, I think. So pretty impressive timing right there. Wyckoff, yes, I was talking about the Wyckoff distribution as well. Many of you guys pointed it out as well. This is textbook distribution right here, which is one of the reasons that I don't think that we're entering a bear market right now. That's quite important. You know, we definitely could be macro bearish for weeks, maybe even a few months, but bull markets for Bitcoin, I've never seen ending like this. You know, a regular market, they might end with Wyckoff distribution. Bitcoin, I've never seen it happen like this. So it doesn't mean it won't happen like this, but it's not my first guess for sure. So I think that's quite important. I see all of you guys in the comments. Elon Musk also putting out a funny tweet. Take a look at this. Elon Musk saying that Tesla has diamond hands. For those of you who are not in on the joke, diamond hands means that you're not scared of selling when an asset falls. That's to say that you have very strong hands, and you know, the other side is if you had weak hands, you would be selling. So Tesla having diamond hands is Elon Musk basically making a little bit of a joke about how they're not selling even if Bitcoin crashes. They are roughly at break even right now, so it's actually not too bad. But this is the biggest dump that we've ever seen with Bitcoin, ever. ever. This is the biggest dump we've ever seen with Bitcoin. Bitcoin topped out at $65,000, and if we measure this down to the low that we set today, and this is where it starts getting very concerning, Bitcoin has more than halved from that all-time high, right? Bitcoin has more than halved from that all-time high, and it's dropped down by $34,000. So this is quite literally the biggest dump that Bitcoin has ever had. Ever. Full stop. That's the end. It's the biggest dump we've ever seen in Bitcoin. It's also the same with Ethereum. Ethereum has absolutely tanked. Bitcoin down by -13, Ethereum down by -22, and actually at its low, it was down by a lot more than that. It crashed like 40% today. Take a look at this. My goodness. Falling down to where? Bam. These earlier support levels that I had outlined for you guys right here on this chart between $1,900 and $2,000. This is actually one of the things I said on an earlier live stream. So shout out to those of you who are subscribed, because I was talking about exactly this level. If Ethereum were to crash down, one of the key things that I said in one of those videos. Again, by the way, if you remember me saying that, just drop a yes in the comments, because that was pretty damn impressive how we bounced off that support. What I said is that Ethereum really went very crazy after this price level, after about $2,000. It just absolutely blew the fuck off. It was flying, and that's really fun when you're making money, but it means that on the way back down, there's no support. And there's no support because there was no resistance on the way up, and old areas of resistance become new areas of support when you fall back down to them. But we had nothing to fall down to until the $2,000 level. Number one, because it's got technical resistance. We actually did get rejected here, and we had several crucial reversals. That's quite important, right? If we get big reversals, that's what makes a point valid. That's what makes a level valid, in my opinion. We had several good reversals. We even had nice back tests. So from a technical perspective, 1900 to 2000 was a very logical bounce zone. From a psychological perspective, it's a beautiful, nice, big round number. So completely not taking me by surprise right here that Ethereum is bouncing off this level. And what this is showing us is still that this market is experiencing some good, healthy price action. We're falling down, and we are falling down very quickly. I am going to talk about that a lot in this live stream, but we're doing it in healthy ways. We're coming down to good support levels. We're making good use of them. In terms of a very bad situation, I think we're doing pretty good. I think that we are finding support fairly well, and that is absolutely great to be seeing. Let's move it back to the Bitcoin chart. We are at $37,000 with this live stream today. Thank you all for tuning in. If you are enjoying this live stream so far, and if you are pumped up for these markets, then smash up the likes on this live stream. I would really, really appreciate that. I woke up early to do this stream, so because I am in LA, it's 8 a.m. I never wake up this early, so if this is something that you are enjoying, then I would appreciate those likes and subscribes if you are enjoying this content, if you're new to this channel. But what we saw was this, I think, logical bounce off the $30,000 level. The next question is this a real recovery, or are we forming a dead cat bounce? Now, a real recovery would mean that we're going to trade all the way back up to the all-time high from here, and we're not dropping lower. A dead cat bounce means that this thing is dead, and it's almost like, when an animal gets killed in the wild, lion eats its neck or whatever, the animal's leg might keep twitching. And that's what a dead cat bounce means, where the thing is already dead, but it's twitching a little bit. And, these twitches can be quite extreme when you've just dumped by, 52% from the all-time high within a few weeks. So it can go up by 20% in these kind of dead cat bounces. And that's the question. Are we in a dead cat bounce right now? And if that's the case, that means we're going to trend up a little bit and barely even trend. I mean, just bounce up a little bit and then get slapped right back down. What is the likelihood of that? Is that possible? Is it likely? And so on. That is the next question to be asking. And this one, look, I'm leaning towards dead cat bounce. I'm leaning towards this is pretty bad. And the reason for that is I mentioned to you a lot that my two final support levels for Bitcoin were 42 and 38. And if we fell below that, the thing is, it just indicates to me that this thing needs to crash a lot more. There's a lot of signs in this chart right now, in my opinion, that are very, very bad. One of them is if we stopped dumping at this level, that would be a minus 40% correction. The fact that we didn't, we hit a minus 52% correction. And in Bitcoin's recent history, ladies and gents, in Bitcoin's recent history, Bitcoin has never been able to recover from a dump bigger than 40%. If Bitcoin dumped more than 40% in its recent history, now previously in 2012, 2011, it happened, but in its recent history, I'm going back as far as 2016, if it dumped more than 40%, bear market. That was the end. That was the end. So applying that to right now, while I don't think the bull market has necessarily come to an end, because we're still at $37,000, and just a year ago we were at like 5,000. So I don't know how you can call that a bull market ending, but applying that to the technicals right here, that makes the likelihood of this being a dead cat bounce extremely high. If we take a look at this on the 1 hour time frame, we can see, in fact, let's zoom in a little bit more onto the 5 minute time frame. We can see that, wait for this to load, and let me know how the stream is, by the way, guys. If you're enjoying it so far, if the connection's good and everything, please let me know. This is just, in fact, I might even short this live on video, because this was the support area on the 5 minute time frame. We can see very clearly that we found support at 42,000, like I said we would. Actually, quite a few times we found support. We got nice bounces, like 10%, 8% bounces up, which I mentioned to you in the previous video was very powerful. These are the kind of things that, VIP members are really profiting from quite well inside of the group. This person right here, profiting from similar kind of moves that I was talking about in these live streams. I mean, we have just been blowing off during this market. This is the time where a lot of people are losing money. But of course, if you're positioned well in this kind of market, we are looking at actually, profiting off this blood. The thing to understand about this market, ladies and gents, with these steps to join VIP on screen, is that in this market, and I learned this from Crypto Kirby, he's another YouTube analyst, go check him out. In this market, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. And what that means is people on the rise up who were trading well, the bulls, they made money. People who switched bearish, like myself, at the right time, they made money. People who couldn't decide, they just got slaughtered today. And this is what the real crypto market is about. It's really, really sunny and beautiful. You've got bikini models on your yacht, and it's the dream life until it's not. And when it's not, you're on Skid Row. Maybe that was a little bit inappropriate, but things are going really bad when the market crashes like this. And if you're prepared for it, like I was telling you guys yesterday about how I started selling my Bitcoins way up in the $50,000 range. 52,000 is where I mentioned to VIPs, and I gave VIPs an explanation of why I started selling my Bitcoin. I was very vocal about this. I was very, very vocal about this, even on YouTube. I was closing my long positions. I was taking profits on my Ethereum position. You can read all of this. We saw this coming with VIP, definitely not this hard at all, but we did know for sure that this market was becoming a little bit overextended. And, while my analysis over the past few days was definitely leaning bullish, and I 100% admit that that was wrong, the trades were not like that. The trades were still saying, I'm scaling back my positions, I'm taking my profits, in very real ways. And at the end of the day, your analysis could be wrong. It doesn't matter if your trades are good. And that's very important. Your analysis being wrong, that's an ego hit, fine, whatever. We don't like being wrong. Trades being wrong, that's a wallet hit. So, which one would you prefer? You rather get your ego hit a little bit, or you rather make money? Very, very important things to consider. VIP right now, we are running a flash sale with these steps on screen, but let's take it back to the chart. You can pause the live stream and go check that out. We got 2,000 viewers in here. Thank you all for tuning in. Please do smash up those likes and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's talk about this though right here and the possibility of a dead cat bounce, because my God, we found support here. Bitcoin managed to rise back up into the $40,000 range briefly, but it was not the bounce that I was looking for. Not at all. You know, originally we were getting that V-shaped correction when I was making my live stream. I'm sorry, my last video. But then viewers correctly pointed out that it quickly turned into a W, which was a sign of weakness. And yes, it has crashed down. Now, the thing is right here, ladies and gents, this was an area of support for the market, and it was good support. You know, if we trace this back on the 4-hour time frame, this was quite an important level in the market. This is exactly where Elon Musk's first ever major manipulation, so to speak, of the market topped out at. This is also where we found resistance afterwards, and it's also where we found support afterwards. This is a crucial point in the market. Now, look, when you draw support resistance levels, you can draw them basically anywhere, but they're more significant, in my opinion, if you draw them at crucial reversal points. They're much more significant, in my opinion, if you draw them at crucial reversal points. That's why I had 42,000 as my key target for Bitcoin. That's why I had 38,000 as my key target for Bitcoin. Because as soon as we hit 42, big reversal. As soon as we hit 38, big reversal. As soon as we bounced off 38, big reversal. Take a look at that. So these are very, very significant levels. And if they weren't responded to very well as support, which they weren't, and now we're coming back up to test them as resistance, good fucking luck. Good luck, because that's not going well, in my opinion. I mean, you know, you are out of luck at that point, the way I see it. You know, the thing is that momentum resistance and things like that haven't really caught up with the trend yet. So maybe we consolidate her a little bit. Maybe we even push the level a little bit more. But this resistance is going to catch up. The fact is, you know, this market is panicking. It's really gone awry right now. Things are pretty bad in this space, and I think that does mean that it's only a matter of time until resistance for the short term catches up to the chart, catches up to the price. I'm sorry, and then starts trending us a little bit lower. EMA resistance on the hourly time frame is close. I mean, I'm literally talking within the next. Well, it's pretty late in UTC time zone right now, isn't it? Wow. Yeah, I mean, wow. Okay, well, the daily candle is going to be closing in about 5 hours. So, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if at some point before that daily close, that we did start to get a little bit of a rejection, because this EMA resistance is going to catch up to the trend if we don't do anything spectacular right now, although there's basically nothing that Bitcoin can do to not make this EMA keep dropping lower, which is just a sign that resistance is catching up. You know, on the 1-hour time frame, it's already there. If somehow Bitcoin is still trading here on the 21st of May, which is in 2 days at midnight, which is in actually a day and 5 hours, if somehow Bitcoin in 1 day and 5 hours, 29 hours from now, is trading here, it's going to hit Ichimoku resistance. How did that go the last time for Bitcoin? The last time Bitcoin hit Ichimoku resistance, bam, rejection, bam, rejection, bam, rejection, and then another one right here. So I'm not optimistic about how that can go for Bitcoin in this downward trending market. You know, the resistance is catching up. It's very clear that it's working. You know, this right now is all the more reason that it would work. Look at this. It's pumped just now. It's hit $38,000. Honestly, if I wasn't live streaming right now, I would 7 hours to the close. I'm sorry. If I wasn't live streaming right now, I would consider going short on Bitcoin right now. Would I? Let me see actually. Let me see. Well, actually, there's not much I need to see. Yeah, I would go short. I would go short. Maybe with low leverage, perhaps put a stop loss at about. I think an easy stop loss right here would be around 41.4. That's a 9% rise. So maybe using 3x leverage, go short. 3 times 9 is 27% loss. And then the profit potential would be back down to 30K. So 3 times 17 would be... Oh, I'm really bad at math. That's difficult. 51% profit. That's okay. 51% is pretty good. Yeah, on a short position, I don't see how that could go wrong. It certainly could, but that would be difficult to trade badly, I think. I don't know. I'm not so sure if I'd trade this because I got 2,000 people watching me right now, so it's a little bit of pressure to be trading. But in terms of classic technical analysis, I mean, this agrees with everything I would do. Honestly, this. In fact, I gotta real quick. I'm gonna just message my analyst real quick and see if he agrees with me. Yep, sorry about that, but I mean, it's a live stream during a massive pivotal point in the market, so it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a little bit awkward. Yeah, we are already starting to get a small rejection. I don't know how big this can turn into, but look, I've made my opinion pretty clear right there. For right now, I don't think Bitcoin can recover up. If this is a dead cat bounce, then that would certainly indicate that we're going to fall back down to this level. And crucially, ladies and gents, because we failed all the important support levels before, I don't actually think, I'm not very optimistic for Bitcoin to find support again over here. It could be that we bounce off one more time, but I think much more likely, even in its best case, if we come down here in its best case, Bitcoin will just kind of trade something a little bit like this and then crash down, which is to say that initially we get a little bit of a pump, which is a relief rally, and then it almost forms a descending triangle, and pressure condenses to the downside, and then we break down. I mean, I can't see anything being more likely than that right now. I think that's very, very important to be aware of right now, because I just seeing as how Bitcoin has tested this level but broken all of the other ones. I don't know what makes this level stronger than 42k. I mean, it's a good level, don't get me wrong. This is why I outlined it. I think 30k is a good support level, and we bounced off 30k on the dot. Literally $30,000 and 0 cents is where Bitcoin bounced up from. So not particularly surprising, but I can't see how I can't see how this level can hold as support if we're coming back down with that same force that we used originally to come down. And look at that, it's already down by about $400 or $500 since I said I would go short. So I mean, that was a hypothetical trade that I was pretty much ready to trade. Just like I said, I would have done it if I weren't streaming. It's already down by 1%. So on 3 times leverage, that's 1.2%. That's what, nearly 5% profit. It's okay. It's okay. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. If you do have any questions, drop them down in the live chat, because I will be going through them. If you're enjoying this live stream so far and you're finding it useful, finding it interesting, if you thought that little prediction with this market, look at that, taking a little bit of a dive, just $100 or so, but in a market like this, that is actually fairly significant right now. If you're finding this interesting or useful, maybe even entertaining, dare I say, then do hit up the likes, subscribe to the channel if you are new here. I honestly don't know if Bitcoin crashes down from here, if we will see 38k today again. Maybe not. Especially if this thing drops back down to about 35. If it drops below 35, anywhere below this line, I don't think it's coming back up to 38 anytime soon. Yeah, maybe in a few days, maybe in a few weeks, not anytime soon. So yeah, I wouldn't have had time to enter that trade anyway, to be honest, even if I wasn't streaming. That would be, now it's pushing. Now it's starting to hit about 7-8% profit on 3 times leverage. So it would have been okay. I mean, that's not too bad for a few minutes. So yeah, pretty cool. But I think I wouldn't have had time to, because I'm using Bybit. I gotta get my VPN, another VPN for Bybit. Yeah, because I am in LA right now, Los Angeles. So that's the dead cat bounce. Let's see what else we've got here. I want to give you my next predictions for Bitcoin. If we do sweep this floor, ladies and gents, what this means is, and I should blow up my camera here because I do know that a lot of people don't actually know this, and so I need to clarify it for you. If Bitcoin reaches a low, in this case, I'm talking about the 42,000, 38,000 low, which I mentioned for a long time would be my long-term target. If Bitcoin reaches those kind of lows and then it sweeps them and it falls below, it then needs to find support somewhere else, because eventually it will bounce, most likely. I mean, it's not just going to fall in a straight line down to zero. Eventually it'll bounce. Whether that bounce is strong or weak is not the point. Eventually it'll probably bounce. And so and by probably, I mean like 99.999% recurring sure that it will bounce. But that means that when you've dropped below a major support level, you need to identify what the next one is. And that's where you can start to predict where Bitcoin might bounce from. So I was saying, if we take it back to this chart, that Bitcoin had support at $50,000, but if we lost that support, we would fall down to 42. That happened pretty damn well. Then I said if we lost 42, we would fall down to 38. That happened pretty well. Then I said if we fall below 38, we'll probably fall down to 30. This was the next area of support that I saw because this was the big reversal point in the market. And so that was definitely a sign to me that this thing could be ready to find a little bit of support in the low $30,000 range. And that's just because it was the next area, which was a potential bounce zone. So my job right now is to find where the other bounce zones are so that it doesn't take me by surprise if Bitcoin does actually drop down a little bit lower. So if we sweep this low, the next areas of support that I think Bitcoin could expect to find would be around 28,000, because this was a reversal point right here. So I'm gonna drop a line, bam, right there. The next one would be around 24,000, which is a box that I have to draw. So let me do that. It would be around here. This would be the next support below 28,000. And the next final support that I see for Bitcoin, if Bitcoin falls below this, pack your bags up. The game is done. I will leave and I will scrape together what remains I have and hopefully be able to pay for fuel on my Ferrari. Maybe I'll have to sell it. I'm being dramatic. If Bitcoin fell down to 20k, I would buy a lot more. Honestly, I would sell my house and buy Bitcoin. I'm serious. I'd consider it. I wouldn't do it. I don't think I would do it, but I would consider it. I was very vocal about selling Bitcoin and Ethereum and the like on the way up, but I'm willing to reverse that. And I sold that Bitcoin to buy a house, like literally to buy a house. Here's a tweet that I did about it. 5 years ago, my mom had to claim benefits in the UK and we couldn't afford rent. Today, I just made the down payment on my dream house. This was exactly 2 months ago, nearly. And bam, this was the house. I was actively selling Bitcoin. Very, very cool to be able to do that. I was actively selling Bitcoin on the way up in order to achieve this, but I would literally sell this house to buy Bitcoin back at 20k. But those are the support levels I'm seeing. And the reason I'm seeing those support levels is, so we got this big reversal point at $28,000 that indicates to me that this is a crucial turning point in the market. Not only was it a big reversal point on the way up, it was also something that gave Bitcoin a small rejection right here at 28,000, and Bitcoin nearly came down to it before as well. I don't know if that's super significant, but 28k, I don't think this can be anything significant for the market. This is not actually what I have my eyes on. And by the way, I haven't even talked about the main bit of TA, which, you know, I said according to this chart, the mega dump is over. I haven't even gotten to that yet. I'll get to that one next. But I'm just outlining for you these support levels. 28k is one of them, but it's quite weak. You know, I don't think that it is, I don't think that it's super important in this market right now. Below that, we have 24,000. And I think that this is a good area of support purely because Bitcoin consolidated here. You know, the thing we need to understand, ladies and gents, is that, you know, to find support down, you need to first find resistance on the way up. If you don't find resistance on the way up, you're not going to consolidate. You're not going to form a continuation pattern. You're not going to have anything sideways in time. And if you don't have it, you're not going to have anything to find support at on the way back down. This is very, very obvious. That's why from 50,000, we fell straight down to 42. Even the first time it happened, look at this. From 50,000, straight down to 43. That's why we get these big drops. Because on the way up, ladies and gents, on the way up right here, take a look at this. You cannot ignore this. If you don't know this, you're at a major disadvantage. If we did not establish resistance on the way up, which we didn't, it was just a straight rise up. I mean, sure, we had a little bit of a pullback at every point, but this was a staircase to heaven. If you're just rising up with no care in the world, you're going to fucking fall back down if you don't establish any resistance on the way up. This is what I was saying about Ethereum. This is why I sold Ethereum, you know, like pretty much at the top with this drawing right here. I'm not going to stop flexing this because this was one of the most impressive plays I've ever made in my life. You know, Ethereum, I mentioned to all my VIP members right here. As many of you know, besides Bitcoin, I only have 2 long-term holdings, Ethereum and Swissborg has shit the bed, by the way. I'm going to talk about that later on. I discussed ETH being a major obvious play in the market all throughout the range when it was below $400 just 8 months ago, and it's now 10 times higher than that in the USD price. It also outperformed Bitcoin by more than twice as well over the 3 months. And so I mentioned that I'm strongly considering selling part or all of my Ethereum holdings back into BTC. And the very next day, in fact, that same day, I did tell VIP members that I sold 50% of my long-term Ethereum holdings. This was literally right around here. And that's a very, very impressive exit point, I think. And then on that same day, I also made a profit on Ethereum, so that was pretty cool. And the reason for this, the reason I started taking profits here is because I was seeing a lot of irrational exuberance. It's one of those things where you get in an Uber and the Uber driver's telling you about it, and it's all over the news, and teenagers becoming millionaires, which is slightly hypocritical for me to, roll my eyes at, but it's not normal for a teenager to become a millionaire. So I wasn't seeing these as signs of the market continuing to rise. I was seeing it as signs that the market could be ready for a crash. And that's why I was starting to sell off. And now, look, I got to go back to what I said before. My analysis was 100% wrong over the past 1 or 2 days, where I was saying that we could be getting a bounce. There's no denying it. I was saying that we could be bouncing off 42.38. I was actually quite positive about it. I was nearly going to buy Bitcoin there, but I didn't. And that's the point where, your analysis can be wrong. And as long as you don't trade that, it's fine. Because now, in my head, my ego, I was wrong, and that hurts a little bit because I'm a young guy, whatever. I want to be right all the time. But my wallet did not take a hit because of that. Things could have been a lot worse for me, because obviously I did lose money with Bitcoin crashing, but things could have been a lot worse for me if I also then bought more and compounded it with some leveraged positions. I know that a lot of people got liquidated today, for example. Whereas instead, inside of the VIP group, we've had people pulling beautiful gains. This is not recent. This was like 2 days ago, I think. Something like that. I can't remember. But we've had, just in this market, literally over the past 1 hour or 2 hours, I've had VIP members messaging me with their profits. I haven't had time to get those testimonials on screen for you. But these are very, very impressive results that we've been able to pull off inside of the VIP group. And this is, like I said, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. If you're not able to commit to these two, the bull or the bear side, at the right time, you're going to get slaughtered. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Right? If you don't want to be a pig and get slaughtered in a market like this, you need to be aware of things like what I just mentioned on the Ethereum chart. You need to be aware of things like this, where, what I just mentioned on the Bitcoin chart, where when you are trending higher, if you do not establish resistance on the way up, look, Ethereum only established resistance right here at 2,500. And we didn't even bounce off that because that wasn't strong enough resistance. If you're trending upwards but you're not establishing resistance, you're not going to have any support if this crashes down. Logically, think about it. The market has not had any significant points of trauma or importance in terms of memory in this market since, you guessed it, $2,000. Maybe you guessed it. I don't know. Most of you probably didn't guess it because it wasn't very obvious. But, we haven't had, a significant, and this was a significant reversal point. If we take a look at this, Ethereum literally fell below its previous all-time high, corrected down by 36% right when it hit 2,000. So this was a very significant reversal point. We didn't have anything like that above $2,000, which is why, it was so much clarity, it was so obvious, which is why Ethereum, when things started getting bad, started to shit the bed. That's why I sold, I didn't sell 5%, I didn't sell 10% of my Ethereum holdings. I literally sold, I literally sold 50% of all of my Ethereum. This is Ethereum that I've been holding since like 2018, like a long, long time. I sold it there because there's no support on the way back down. And this means I can now buy back a lot more Ethereum, which to me is a massive, massive success. So, if you're not aware of these things where, you're not establishing resistance on the way up, so you won't have support on the way back down, now's your time to start brushing up on that kind of knowledge because you need it. and it would save you from a lot of trauma. It's the same on the, well, I would say it's the same on the way back down. It's not, because you can only establish levels on the way up. You can establish levels on the way down, but usually you're just reacting to the levels that you previously established. So it doesn't matter too much on the way back down. As long as you know where those levels are, you can start to play that game. So if we take it back to Bitcoin right now, ladies and gents, where are we right now with the Bitcoin price? 37.4. So still, I mean, it would have been a fairly nice entry. I want to see if my analyst replied. Because we both trade exactly the same thing every time. He's not particularly fond of it. Behind the Four Slice team, it's not just me. I am the main guy, but I also have another lead analyst who's like, as an analyst, we're like twin brothers. We do like everything the same. He's just safer than me. And he was more right than I was actually on this recent drop, because he thought we were dropping lower, and I was saying, nah, we're probably going to find support here. So so that was pretty cool. Very, very cool to have a team that is able to pull that kind of sway. I think is very, very impressive. But yeah, you know, if we take it back to this chart now and now take a look at where Bitcoin might be getting ready to establish a little bit of support, you know, we do have to go down to the next area of, you know, previous resistance, and that is $24,000 right here. So that is definitely a potential bounce zone that I'm seeing for Bitcoin, and below that we do have 20,000. This is where I'm selling my kidneys and I'm going all in on Bitcoin right up to the moon. I don't see Bitcoin falling below this. If it does, it's game over. I mean, it was already game over falling below 38, but you know, 20 is it. 20 is it. I mean, you know, now I was saying before it's too early to talk about it. Now it's not. Now it's not too early to talk about it. So that's worth keeping in mind. The other thing I'd like to remind you of, ladies and gents, if you watched my previous video, is that this is exactly how markets bottom out when everyone is shitting the bed. Someone asked me, have we had capitulation today? I would say so. This looks like capitulation to me. Capitulation means people have literally thrown in the towel and said, all right, I'm done. I give up. I'm out of the market. That's it. When we get that in these kind of markets, the market's ready to start rising again. The only issue is that, you know, Bitcoin can take a beating up to a certain point. You know, what I mentioned earlier on in this live stream, for those of you just tuning in, is that Bitcoin has suffered a lot of crashes and dips, but never anything more than 40%, and then continued to rise higher. Meaning that if Bitcoin ever fell by 40% or less in a bull market, it probably had a pretty good chance of recovering higher. But in recent times, going back about 4 or 5 years, if Bitcoin ever dropped by more than 40%, the bull market was over, and we entered a macro bearish trend for months, maybe years. That's what happened over the past 4 or 5 years. If we ever drop below more than 40%, it became very bad for very long. Today, we're officially down by 52% from the all-time high at 65,000. So it's an exceptional time. I'm now curious to know what you guys think in the comments as well. Do you think that we're in a macro bear market now, or do you think that actually we can still recover from this? I still think we can recover from this. I absolutely do. I have a few reasons for that. If we take it back to the chart, one of the key reasons is that I've never, ever seen a Bitcoin market top out with a Wyckoff distribution pattern or anything similar to this. I've only ever seen Bitcoin top out like it did in 2017. That's the only way I've ever seen Bitcoin top out. Take a look at this. Bam. You know, massive blow off top, dead cat bounce down. That's what we see with typical Bitcoin market rallies topping out. You know, that's what happened in 2017. That's even what happened in 2019. Massive rally, blow off top with a dead cat bounce and back down. This market, this cycle has apparently ended with sideways trading, with consolidation. I'm not buying that. I don't think that's legit. To me, this is very clear that it's a substantial drawdown. You know, what we need to keep in mind is that this market has been very bullish for a very long time, and it hasn't had any real big corrections. The biggest one we got, it's only had one real big correction, which was right here, if I'm not mistaken, although this one looks bigger. Let me measure this one. Yeah, so this one was not bigger. It looks bigger, but it's not. This one, yeah, it was also quite big, but nothing around 40%. This was the closest we got, and this was still about 32% from high to low. So, and this was a more aggressive bull run than 2017. You know, which is one of the things I've been saying for a while. I was even interviewed by Swissborg on their Kryptonites show, which is basically a series that interviews other prominent crypto figures in Dubai. And one of the things I said towards the end, we did a segment where I was driving in the Ferrari and he was interviewing me. One of the things that I said at the end is that this bull market is extremely unusual. This, like, it as an asset matures, as Bitcoin was, because it's getting bigger and institutions are stepping in, and now, you know, it's being regulated. It's got every sign of maturing. As an asset matures, it's supposed to have more toned down, less crazy price action. But Bitcoin doesn't. Bitcoin actually got crazier. This is the craziest price action I've seen. Ever. Seriously. And I said at that point, I don't know what conclusion to draw from that. Honestly, I didn't know. I still don't fully know. Fortunately, you don't need to if you're just a trader. I'm just trying to trade these markets in the short term, so I don't need to wonder about these things too much. But you know, what I think is very important to take note of is that this was very unusual. We did rise much harder than in 2017, for example. And that does mean that if there's any time where we're going to have a crash bigger than 40%, that can still be recovered in this market, it's now. You know, and I think that, you know, potentially finding support a little bit lower would make a lot of sense. I want to show you the key thing that I was actually outlining for you all in this previous that I wanted to outline for you in this live stream today, ladies and gents, which was actually a beautiful Fibonacci retracement. So let me show you the chart again. It was a beautiful Fibonacci retracement. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this live stream so far, we've got 2,200 viewers. Shout out to all of you for tuning in. Thank you very much. If you're enjoying this live stream so far, please do smash up those likes. It's 8:43 a.m. in Los Angeles right now. I never wake up this early, so I only did it for the live stream. And surprisingly, I don't feel like shit. So I think that's because the market's making me feel so alive. I feel like I have cold blood running through my veins right now. Honestly, I feel like a shark or something. Just because I was already selling my Bitcoins and Ethereum earlier. You know, V-shaped recovery, I'm not so sure. Because I was already selling my crypto earlier, you know, right before this drop, and even on the way back up, even on the way up, like around over here is where I was selling my Bitcoin. So I got a bit of a head high right now, but you know, this is an important Fibonacci retracement. So thank you all for hitting up the likes and subscribing to the channel. I do see that. Actually, I'm curious to know. I do just want to check while we're streaming where the channel is at. We've been blowing up. I have you guys to thank for that. Thank you all very much for the support. We've just passed 87,000 subscribers, gunning for 100,000. I think it can happen next month. So if you are enjoying this content and you want to be able to keep on watching it, it's very realistic. You know, the thing is, we're not appealing to feelings. You know, your feelings will be hurt. You will be upset. Get over it. You're a fucking trader. You know, like if you have those kind of issues, you shouldn't be in the game. But if you're willing to look at it with a little bit more of a realistic approach, you're able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I would say to myself, Sammy, you're a fucking idiot. Don't do that again. And then feel bad about it for like 2 days and it ruins your day. But then you never make those mistakes again. I mean, you know, saying it out loud, it doesn't sound that bad. But in practice, most people just crumble. Most people capitulate and they sell everything at times like this. You know, if you're a little bit harder than that and you are looking for hopefully bigger, better things, that's what this channel is about. You know, what did you think? It's not going to be easy. Not possible. It can't be easy. But it's possible. And that's, you know, and that's what I'm hoping to be able to show you in this live stream on this channel. So thank you all for subscribing already, if you've done so. Very, very, very significant. I see that I'm losing connection. Have I... Can you guys still see this live stream or what? I'm sorry, I see that there's an issue. Bear with me, because I need to check this.
I have a chart right here on Binance that looks like Binance Coin could.
Yeah, I gotta make sure that this is fine, because this is looking wrong on my side. So bear with me. Stream is fine. It's fine for you guys, but not for me. So bear with me while I fix this. Actually, I could keep on going, to be honest. It's just that I can't read your chat. I guess that's fine. I guess no. Let me just fix it real quick. I'll literally be 2 minutes. I mean, it's not gonna take me very long. I've had this issue before.